The storm came faster than anyone expected. By late afternoon, the peaceful valley of Wyoming had turned gray and mean. Clouds pressed low over the mountains, rolling like waves, and the wind screamed through the cottonwoods. Within minutes, the snow started falling, not in soft flakes, but in thick, blinding sheets. Michael Lee, a lifelong rancher, leaned into the gale as he latched the final gate on the southern pasture. The herd of cattle huddled together in the distance, shapes barely visible through the white curtain of snow. He squinted, scanning the field one last time. Something was wrong. A gap in the herd, a missing calf. Michael swore under his breath. "Not tonight," he muttered, pulling his scarf tighter. But his heart had already dropped. In weather like this, even an hour alone could mean death for a newborn calf. Beside him, his shepherd mix, Ranger, stood rigid. The dog's coat was thick and mottled, his amber eyes sharp despite the storm. He barked once, a short, focused sound that cut through the wind. Michael turned. "You smell her, boy?" Ranger's ears twitched. He barked again, louder this time, then looked toward the tree line where the pasture met the woods. Michael hesitated. The blizzard was growing worse, but Ranger's stance was clear. He'd found the scent. "All right," Michael said finally, crouching to meet the dog's gaze. "Find her. Bring her back." Ranger gave a low whine, pressing his head briefly against Michael's glove, then turned and bolted into the storm. Within seconds, his shape vanished into white. The wind howled like a beast. Snow whipped across the open ground, stinging Ranger's eyes. He kept his nose low, tracking the faint, trembling scent trail beneath the cold. Each breath burned, his paws sinking deep into drifts. The world had turned to a blur of white and gray, but he didn't stop. Somewhere ahead, faint over the storm, came a small sound, a cry, weak, frightened, muffled by snow. Ranger's ears perked. He barked once in response, pushing harder. The scent grew stronger now. Milk, fear, blood. He crested a ridge and skidded down into a hollow, snow spraying around him. There she was, a calf, no bigger than a child, half buried in snow near a fallen fence post. Her legs kicked feebly. Her fur was coated in frost. She bleated weakly when she saw him, eyes wide, panicked, pleading. Ranger barked softly, circling her, sniffing, licking the frost from her face. The calf responded with a trembling cry, nudging weakly at him. He began to dig around her paw by paw, clearing the snow. Then, a sound sliced through the wind. A long, mournful howl. Ranger froze, ears forward. Another answered, then another. From the tree line came movement, shadows slipping through the snow, low and fast. Wolves, 5 of them. Lean, gray, hungry. The storm had driven them from the mountains, and now, in the blinding cold, they had found easy prey. Ranger positioned himself in front of the calf, tail raised, fur bristling. His teeth bared, breath steaming in the frigid air. He growled low, a warning that rumbled from his chest. The wolves slowed, spreading into a semicircle. Their eyes glowed amber in the dim light. The leader, a large gray male with a torn ear, stepped forward. He growled once, a signal. The pack lunged. Ranger met the first with a snarl, slamming into it mid-leap. The two tumbled into the snow, snapping and biting. The wolf was heavier, stronger, but Ranger was faster, desperate, fueled by something deeper than instinct, loyalty. He twisted, clamping his jaws onto the wolf's shoulder, forcing it back. Another wolf rushed from the side, teeth flashing. Ranger turned too late. Pain exploded through his hind leg as fangs tore into it. He yelped, spinning, biting wildly. snow sprayed red beneath him. Behind him, the calf stumbled, crying out, its small body trembling. Ranger barked furiously, forcing the wolves back. His body shook, lungs burning, blood seeping into the snow, but he didn't retreat. He stood over the calf, every muscle screaming, his stance defiant. The wolves circled, growling. One lunged again, jaws snapping inches from the calf's neck. Ranger leapt forward, intercepting it, their bodies colliding with a thud. They rolled, teeth and claws flashing, the air filled with snarls and the harsh rhythm of survival. Minutes felt like hours. The storm drowned all sound, but their battle, the wild symphony of courage and hunger clashing beneath the falling snow. Then, through the chaos, a faint sound broke through, a horn, a voice. "Ranger!" The wolves hesitated. Another shout followed, closer this time. Then came the unmistakable growl of an engine cutting through the storm. Headlights pierced the white haze. Michael's truck barreled over the ridge, tires grinding through snow. He jumped out before it stopped moving, flashlight cutting across the field. What he saw froze him. Ranger stood bloodied and shaking, his body between the calf and 5 wolves. The pack snarled, eyes gleaming in the light. Michael grabbed his shotgun from the cab and fired into the air. The blast cracked like thunder. The wolves flinched, yelping, then scattered, vanishing into the tree line like smoke. Michael dropped the gun and ran. He fell to his knees beside Ranger. The dog swayed on his paws, blood dripping onto the snow. He wagged his tail weakly, eyes half closed. The calf pressed against him, bleeding softly. Michael's throat tightened. "Oh God, Ranger." He pulled the dog into his arms, voice breaking. "You did it, boy. You saved her." Ranger gave one soft whine and licked Michael's wrist before his head drooped, exhaustion overtaking him. Michael wrapped his coat around both animals, whispering, "You're going home." By dawn, the storm had passed. The sky stretched clear and pale, and the world glimmered under a new layer of snow. In the barn, the air smelled of hay, milk, and warmth. The rescued calf slept under a blanket, its tiny chest rising and falling steadily. Beside her, Ranger lay on a pile of quilts, his wounds cleaned and wrapped. He slept deeply, his breathing slow but strong. Michael sat nearby, elbows on his knees, watching them both. His eyes were red from exhaustion, his voice hoarse when he finally spoke. "You've got more heart than any man I know, old friend." He reached out, brushing Ranger's ear gently. The dog stirred, one eye opening, tail giving a faint thump. For a moment, man and dog sat in silence, the bond between them stronger than words. Outside, the snow melted under morning sun, and the valley slowly woke again. Days turned into weeks. Ranger healed, slowly but surely. The limp stayed, a quiet reminder of that night. But it didn't stop him from returning to his rounds. The calf, now bigger and steadier, followed him everywhere. They became inseparable, the guardian and the saved. Neighbors came by to see the pair, shaking their heads in wonder when they heard the story. "He fought off 5 wolves?" one man asked. Michael smiled faintly, scratching Ranger's neck. "5 that I saw," he said. "Might have been more." They all agreed. It was a miracle they'd both survived. But Michael didn't call it a miracle. He called it loyalty. One evening, months later, the sun dipped low behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the field. The herd grazed quietly under orange light. Ranger lay at the fence line, the calf beside him, now nearly grown. A soft breeze rustled through the grass, carrying the faint, distant call of wolves from far up in the hills. Ranger's ears twitched, but he didn't move. He only lifted his head slightly, eyes calm. The calf pressed its muzzle against his shoulder, and Ranger leaned gently into the touch. Michael stood a few yards away, leaning on the fence. He watched them in silence, a smile softening his weathered face. "You're something else, Ranger," he said quietly. "You've got the heart of a lion." The wind picked up, stirring his hat. The world was quiet now. No storms, no danger, just peace. And in that peace, a tired old farm dog and a once helpless calf stood side by side, proof that courage didn't always wear claws or fangs. Sometimes it came in fur and loyalty. And that's the story of Ranger, the brave dog who risked his life to defend a helpless calf against a pack of wolves. In the harshest night, when nature turned cruel, he stood his ground out of love, not instinct. If this story touched you, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe for more. Till next time, remember, heroes don't always walk on two legs. Sometimes they wait for you in the snow.